Now, nothing too exciting ever happened at Charlie's except when Harvey came in. Harvey was a prominent, devout, deeply committed, totally involved, commode-hugging drunk. He dealt mainly in small numbers. He'd steal hubcaps off Peterbilt diesels, the A&W root beer parking lot, and fence them at the Western Auto Store. He would dynamite catfish in copious commercial quantities in the Little Oconaluhatchee River and sell them in bulk to Howard Johnson's for scallops. Cut them out with a copper tube. But he was chiefly celebrated among the populace of our community for having imported into our thankful midst a young woman of sporting morality. An inconscionable aesthete by the name of Marita, who had been drummed out of high-rolling society in Phoenix City, Alabama. After her health card had been punched so many times, it disappeared into thin air. And this Marita considered herself an interpretress of the modern dance. And lo, whenever the dulcet and mellifluous tones of Miss Peggy Lee were heard to resonate upon the Wurlitzer, singing that grand old American standard, Fever, Marita would lose herself in an engaging series of peregrinations, pirouettes, and bumps and grinds, calculated to leave even the most diffident of observers fraught with horn. On this particular night, Harvey and Marita and a randy retinue of rednecks came stomping into Charlie's. All the local good old boys were bellied up at the bar, snapping the suspenders on their big dads. Their left hands upraised in that fervid type of monodigital articulation, which bespeaks an argument in progress about the relative merits of post-hole digging attachments for John Deere vis-a-vis International Harvester tractors. They turned about and beheld the entry of Harvey and Marita, and in a great man-swarm gaggle of Arcadian underachievers, they slewed crabwise over the polished floor of that gaming establishment, stoking the juke with legal tender in such a manner that Peggy Lee's Fever played 92 times. And Marita so lost herself in a transcendental evocation of her timeless art, struggling gamely, as it were, up the Olympiad of her sensibility, that she shucked her duds right on Charlie's terrazzo floor. That's the second most exciting thing that ever happened around a turkey farm after the great massacre of '53. I responded to this visual phenomenon of unslaked carnality by instantly proposing marriage to a one-eyed waitress who happened by. I didn't want to get in anything heavy. I just wanted to set up light housekeeping in a pup tent in the parking lot until closing time. I was out there with my borrowed ball-peen hammer and my steel tent stakes, putting that mother up in the asphalt. Some fool run over my foot with a pickup truck, emptied out his ashtray in my sleeping bag, peed in my cook fire. And the woman rejected me. So I had to go home and write this damn song. I just wanted you to know the true story so you'd understand where art comes from. On that night of nights, there were a mess of us knocking around Charlie's, scarfing up huge quantities of an Appalachian ambrosia concocted by a craven miscreant named Motlow, who, along with a hand-picked group of charcoal-filtered felons from Moore County, Tennessee, turns this firewater out in what is rumored to be short supply. Although armed with approximately $8 in the address of any whiskey store, I've never yet failed to find at least 5 shelves groaning under the weight of these rare square bottles. I'm not talking about Jim Beam. I ain't talking about Ezra Brooks, J.W. Dant, or George Dickel. I'm talking about Tennessee Sour Mash Sipping Whiskey. I'm talking about Jack Daniel's Tennessee Sour Mash Sipping Whiskey. And this is the old Black Label Blue. A cabaret on the highway. You know the time is 10 till 2. A pretty waitress at my table. A pretty waitress at my table. She say, what can I do for you? That's just what you said now. Oh, baby, I'm so lonely and my mind is ill at ease. I need a woman to love me, but if you cannot love me, then Jack Daniels, if you please. Whiskey and water, oh, whiskey and water. Here's to fear and pain and sorrow, Jack Daniels, if you please. Look out now. Then I called on Miss Maggie Gentry. You know I fell way down upon my knees. Maggie, darling, I need some loving. Oh, deep, deep down in my dark old soul, won't you set my mind at ease? Oh, baby, I believe I'm gonna love you. So lay your head down across my knees. Thank you, darling. I'm gonna kiss you and I'll caress you. But honey, there's just one little thing I'd ask you for first. What's that, darling? Jack Daniels, if you please. She liked it too. Whiskey and water, oh, whiskey and water. Here's to fear and pain and sorrow, Jack Daniels, if you please. With a black label on it. Yeah, it's so good to be playing for a bunch of juicers again.
Got the best foot in the house, I'll tell you that right now. Best foot in the whole house.
Introduce to you this time, Mr. Mr. Mac McGowan is